iOS device or your Android phone, actually be part of the conversation and join us virtually. I must tell you, quite a lot of issues came out today. And on the hot topic, it's ironical. It's also a paradox, and I don't know, I want to say a metaphor as well. These figures of speech are basically what is actually transmitting today on the kind of stories that we have in the front burner. And it must interest you to know as well that while we look into this, I want us to be circumspect. Let's focus on how this conversation go, and then let's also have a broad perspective. Let's open our minds. We don't want to be sentimental to what will be discussed today. So I'm going to start off with this. Now, I'm sure you know about Atiku Issa, the newly inaugurated NANS president, right? So this is what happened. He is a supposed factional president of the National Association of Nigerian Students. Well, today we heard that he was being detained by the DSS following allegations that he was offered 100 million naira bribe by Sheyi Tinubu, son of the president, to support the government's agenda. I'm sure you all heard about the public broadcast he made that went viral on social media. We also played it here on the Evening Rush. Well, Issa also accused Sheyi Tinubu's faction within NANS of orchestrating an assault against him. He specifically named one Ladoja Olushola, that is the Sheyi Tinubu-backed rival factional president, as the individual who allegedly kicked him in the face during the incident. Now, based on what Issa disclosed, apparently he has been in the DSS custody since last Tuesday. His arrest came shortly after a disrupted inauguration ceremony in which he was declared president, a process marred by attacks from government-sponsored thugs. Now, sources from Sahara Reporters said that Issa was subsequently coerced into writing a statement retracting his allegations against Sheyi Tinubu. So, according to Sahara Reporters, Sheyi is currently being held at the DSS hospital on Airport Road, Abuja, under the pretense of receiving medical treatment. However, insiders allege he is being blackmailed and pressured to withdraw his claims. So again, one DSS official who spoke on condition of anonymity to the media Sahara Reporter said Issa was forced to pose for a photo with a gun placed in his hand intended to be used as blackmail. So when this particular information came out, then we now heard public apology to Sheyi Tinubu by Atiku Issa, and this is a public apology. Please permit media Nigerians to set the record straight regarding my video that currently went viral across social media platforms. In the video, I allege that the son of the president, Mr. Sheyi Tinubu, and the Minister of Youth and Sport, Ayodele Olawande, invited me to Lagos. I further stated that the minister and I hugged and thereafter offered me 100 million naira to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but that he rejected the offer. In the video, he also said he alleged that for what they considered his stubbornness to reject the 100 million naira, on the 15th of April 2025, he said in that video that he was abducted, stripped naked, thoroughly beaten up, and in connivance with the MD, that's managing director of the Nigerian Television Authority, that is NTA. He said he was taken to the station where an involuntary statement purportedly indicating, or rather abdicating his position as NANS president, was obtained under duress. So according to this public apology, it has become imperative to note that the offer of 100 million naira, which was alleged was made to him to support the president, was clearly untrue, as Ladoja Olushola, who was desperate to get him out of the legitimate position as the duly elected president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, fed him with lies and half-truth for the sole purpose of achieving his selfish agenda of taking over the reins of the student body through the back doors. Also, in this public apology, he disclosed that it was also Ladoja Olushola who warned him that Mr. Sheyi Tinubu could order his killing and thereafter instruct the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kaide Egbetokun, to bury the matter. It also stated, among other things, that Sheyi Tinubu led thugs to the venue of his inauguration, that this was very untrue. He said he made these claims owing to the picture Sheyi Tinubu painted to him by Ladoja Olushola, who swore to him that Sheyi was doing everything to ensure he is unalived to serve his tenure as NANS president. And in fact, he later found out that Mr. Sheyi was nowhere near the venue. So in retracting his apology, he's telling us now that he was hoodwinked and possibly fed lies and half-truth by this Ladoja Olushola, that it was the Ladoja Olushola who mentioned the president's son, made all those threats with the president's name, the president's son's name, and it had nothing to do with the president's son. Because if you recall, that the president's son came out and distanced himself from all what Issa was saying, that he doesn't know anything that is being permutated out there. So based on the retraction of the statement made by the factional NANS president Atiku Issa Abubakar, he's saying that after, remember again, that based on Sahara reporters, he was kept in a hospital in Abuja under DSS custody, that he was, being kept there under duress by the DSS, and that he's been forced to retract his earlier statement about the president's son wanting to unalive him, and that they're also forcing him to make a retraction and a public apology to the president's son. So now that's basically, he's giving his reasons why he's giving that public apology and explaining the reason why he made all the statements he made, that some certain persons possibly fed him information that was untrue and used the president's name to feed him those lies, and that was what made him to make all the altercation he made. In other words, I don't know who led to his beating. The beatings we saw on social media, the swollen eye, the skin that was brutalized, the pictures that he said were taken of him, and the name of the president's son. Now that he's retracting it, all it means that someone else that he cannot identify as a person, so he's apologizing to the president's son. It's an interesting development, and like I said, nothing is impossible in this part of the world. Now, for example, the president's government has come out to tell Nigerians and journalists specifically that we should try and synergize with them in promoting harmonious harmonious content on all our various platforms. We should synergize with them in trying to maintain the unity of the country. According to what the federal government is doing, they're urging media professionals to avoid providing excessive attention to terrorists, bandits, and other criminal elements that threaten the nation's peace and security. In other words, we shouldn't dual information, we shouldn't dual our conversation and anything that has to do with these terrorists and bandits. So whenever we hear that supposed certain persons from a certain ethnic extraction went to a certain community, killed people, or possibly their cows, just to give their cows access to certain farmlands, they mutilated and displaced people, we shouldn't give it that kind of media coverage or attention. We can just report it but not necessarily speak on it, because it feels like we're giving these persons uninhibited attention, and they're not meant to get such attention, because it means that we're glorifying their activities and they feel untouched. Oh well, it's interesting, isn't it? Well, in view or in light of the consistent attacks by Boko Haram and ISWAP recently, the resurgence of insecurity across the country, the Chief of Army Staff has relocated to Maiduguri, the front line of the war against Boko Haram. The idea is to inspire those at the front line, and they're taking the war to the terrorists. Well, we hope that they're able to break through, because this is very, very important. Now, you recall that the Minister of Defense has come out to tell us that the Nigerian army has more weapons, more digitized automated weapons than Boko Haram and ISWAP. So you remember yesterday, the House of Representatives experienced a chaotic incident where some of the constituent members, regardless of whatever political party they represented, actually expressed what was going on within their communities. They mentioned how these individuals have been killing. I'm being careful. They said we shouldn't give these elements any form of publicity. So certain individuals who are termed non-state actors have been killing and clearing out some communities, and that these persons have sophisticated weapons. They use weaponized drones, and that it is so bad actually that it is also very disturbing. Now, in that particular regard, we now heard of informations that brought back to the fore, where I think earlier this morning, if you had listened to us on the World News at 6, you would have heard us where we discussed about some retired army generals calling on the security agencies to do more, that beyond all the monies that have been given to them from the federal government in tackling insecurity, the budgeting since 2023, what are they doing with it that they've not been able to clear out insurgency in the country? In fact, these are ex-retired generals. They called on the federal government to please equip the Nigerian armed forces amid growing concerns over the resurgence of terrorist attacks and killings in the northeast. Now, as you do know, like I earlier explained to you, the chaotic incident that took place in the House. So, for example, in 2023, the federal government earmarked 2.98 trillion naira for defense and security. Then it rose to 3.25 trillion naira in the 2024 budget. And for 2025, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu proposed a record 4.91 trillion naira on the national budget, aimed at enhancing the operational effectiveness of security agencies. So the questions were now they were asking is, if we have those at the front line telling us that their weapons are inadequate to fight the weapons that Boko Haram and ISWAP come in with whenever they attack their barracks, attack their camp. So the defense minister is telling us that that's not true, that their weapons are better than these terrorists. Okay. Well, if you know, for example, there were some certain in Giwa in Borno State. You know that Boko Haram actually attacked the military facility in Giwa in Borno State, and it was a glaring indicator that Boko Haram insurgents seem to be better armed than the military, and that's what the retired generals were saying. And they're also saying that immediate intervention is needed before something turns into something that they cannot be able to control. They said it is a red flag and they are demanding urgent intervention. They're warning that the insurgent groups have evolved from ragtag militias to highly equipped forces with access to encrypted communications, drone surveillance, night vision devices, GPS guided explosives, and coordinated strike systems. These are heavily digitized, mechanized weaponry by non-state actors, and it seems that they don't know where these individuals are getting these arms. Okay, well, these are some of the things we'll be looking into this evening on the Evening Rush. Another interesting factor is the fact that Labour Party, they're suspending themselves. So the Julius Abure faction have suspended 6 top members, including Abia State Governor Alex Oti, Senators Darlington Nwokocha and Ireti Kingigbe, over alleged anti-party activities. They also suspended one Afam Ogene, Amobi Oga, and Sheyi Showumi. So, in the statement, which was signed by the Julius Abure faction National Secretary Umar Farouk Ibrahim, the party is saying that the suspension follows the recommendations of a 5-member disciplinary committee set up on May 2, 2025. And so they are saying that these persons had committed infractions that needed to be dealt with. They said they are questioning the moral standing, allegations of corruption, and all whatnot against these individuals. Now, that is not the only thing taking place. So the Nanadi Usman faction as well, they are also saying that Julius Abure have been given 48 hours to stop parading himself as the chairman of Labour Party. They set up a disciplinary committee and also suspended him. Now, in the press conference, I think, yes, Nanadi Usman faction, they organized a press conference today where they were able to address the press concerning this inanities within the Labour Party. It seems ironical. I don't know how to call the development within the party, but hey, 2 persons within the party, they are suspending themselves. We don't know which of the parties, will I say, suspension should be considered authentic. If you go online right now, you see the media reports saying Labour Party suspends Alex Oti, Ireti Kingigbe, and others. Very few actually talking about the Senator Nanadi Usman suspension of Julius Abure. I want us to take a listen to Senator Nanadi Usman, a brief of it during the live broadcast, where she actually called out the infractions conducted by Julius Abure, mentioned that he should stop parading himself as the Labour Party chair, and that in the next 48 hours he must ensure that he stops calling himself the chairman of the Labour Party. So let's take a listen to her.
On September 4th, 2025, Labour Party stakeholders, including elected officials and statutory NEC members, met in Umuahia, Abia State, and constituted a 29-member National Caretaker Committee led by my humble self, Senator Nanadi Usman, as chairman, and Senator Darlington Nwokocha as the secretary. The committee was mandated to manage the affairs of the party and conduct full congresses from ward to the National Convention. The Labour Party National Caretaker Committee, led by myself, applied then to join the suit. And after appealing the erroneous Federal High Court decision, the Court of Appeal upheld Abure's claim in November 2024. The Labour Party Caretaker Committee then appealed the judgment of the Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court on the 4th of April 2025 delivered a final and a binding judgment. It upheld the appeal by Senator Nenadi's caretaker committee, Senator Nenadi's led caretaker committee, beg your pardon, and it dismissed Abure's cross appeal. It set aside the decisions of the lower courts recognizing Abure. It warned that party leaders should humbly vacate their office at the end of their tenures. Honorable Justice John Ian Okoro specifically declared the decisions of the trial court and the court below, recognizing Julius Abure as the national chairman of the first respondent, are hereby set aside. Investigations have revealed that Abure illegally issued state executive committee letters every 3 months in breach of the Labour Party's constitutional provisions, which means chairmen all over the Federation, in every state of the Federation, are given appointment letters every 3 months. Accordingly, we hereby nullify all these letters issued by the erstwhile chairman to state executive committees. The National Caretaker Extraordinary National Convention Planning Committee, as we are known, is the only organ of the Labour Party with the power to appoint state executive caretaker committees. And that we are going to do together with major stakeholders, because the committees are merely to help in conducting congresses from the ward right up to the National Convention at the federal level. It is with great optimism and a sense of renewed purpose that I inform our members across the globe that the leadership of our great party is diligently working to launch the nationwide membership registration and revalidation exercise in the coming weeks. This critical step will strengthen our grassroots engagement and reposition the Labour Party as a truly people-driven movement. In furtherance of this, we have formally notified the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, of our planned activities, including the forthcoming ward, local government, state, and zonal congresses, which will be culminating into the National Convention. Full details and schedules will be communicated to all stakeholders in the coming days. In conclusion, the Labour Party stands united, disciplined, reinvigorated under our leadership, and supported by all members of the party. We will no longer tolerate impunity, illegality, or personal ambition above party interest. We reaffirm our commitment to rebuilding the Labour Party as a true vehicle for national transformation. The journey to the limitless possibilities of a new Nigeria continues, and we invite every Nigerian of conscience, including some of our members on the other side, to please join us. We call on all Labour Party members across Nigeria, irrespective of past disagreements or affiliations, to continue to support the current leadership and to refuse to be demonized by Abure, who has played his last card and is just clutching at straws. The Labour Party is your home. It is our home. And we need every hand on deck to build the party of our dreams. As I said the other time when I spoke, after the Supreme Court judgment at the Hilton when we had a press briefing, I said, in this matter, there is no victor, no vanquished. All we want is to build a Labour Party that will serve Nigerians, a Labour Party that will give us a vibrant vehicle that we can use for people to come contest election into various offices, win, and help forge Nigeria forward. That is just what we want. We want a Labour Party that has internal democracy, a Labour Party where if you are a member of any the executive, you know when you won election, when the congresses were done, when you started office, and that 3 or 4 years down the road is when you quit or you can go for re-election. We want a Labour Party where people who want to hold positions would go back to their wards and contest election in the congresses.
All right, so you just listened to Senator Nanadi Usman. That's the committee, and they are also giving out in response to Julius Saburi saying they are suspending Ireti Kingibe and Governor Alex Oti of the Labour Party. I'm surprised that they also refused to suspend Mr. Peter Obi from the Labour Party when you consider that Alex Oti and Peter Obi are on the side of the Nanadi Usman committee. Well, it's an interesting one. They reeled out anti-party activities. They mentioned quite a lot of issues within the party. I don't want us to dwell on that because we have other issues to contend with before I call my analyst via the telephone this evening. Meanwhile, Peter Obi is questioning the silence of those who protested against the administration of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. If you recall the Occupy Nigeria protest in 2012, where they said, no, you cannot remove subsidy on petrol. So you had persons like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was in the opposition. Then you had Muhammadu Buhari, who was also in the opposition. Then you had John Uyigun, you had Adams Oshomole. There were a lot of prominent persons in that particular Occupy Nigeria protest. They called out the Independent National Electoral Commission of a lot of vices and electoral anomalies. They called out the Minister of Petroleum at the time. They called out the president for his incapacity to tackle insecurity. A lot of issues were raised up, and so now Peter Obi, the presidential candidate in 2023 for the Labour Party, is saying, where are the voices of those people now? When Jonathan increased petrol, that's premium motor spirits, from 87 naira to 120 naira, he said the move had actually sparked a mass protest, which as I said earlier, which is known as Occupy Nigeria. So Jonathan faced backlash from leaders of the defunct Action Congress of Nigeria. Then it was the ACN before they merged with the Buhari political party at the time, and that they're now mostly in the All Progressives Congress, which includes Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka and Pastor Enoch Adeboye. So while he was delivering the speech at Pa Edwin Clark's memorial lecture in Abuja, Peter Obi queried whether all those people are now dead following their silence in the current economic situation in the country. The former governor of Anambra State argued that the labors of our heroes past are now in vain. Peter Obi is not staying back. He's not staying silent. You remember when he organized a press conference and said that he will remain a strong opposition. Now he will no longer keep silent. He has been keeping silent, but he's going to say it as it is, and lately he's been really vocal regardless of the derogatory comments made by followers of the opposition, regardless of the inanities called upon him, the mudslinging, the tarnishing of his personality. Peter Obi is not sending anybody right now. He's calling it as it is. Okay. Now, Pat Utomi apparently set up another opposition movement, which is called a shadow movement. These are voices that are meant to critically call out the activities of those within this administration. And the federal government actually responded and asked Pat Utomi, how dare you do that? And it's an aberration for him to do that. Now, I want you guys to take your mind back. Can you remember in 2024, early that period, when some signs were being shown that things are really getting difficult, and especially after the first protests, the protest that was held where, the hunger protests, 10 days of rage or something like that. I'm sure you can all remember that. End bad governance protest. Yes, very good. So you remember that then a couple of persons were being dissuaded from going out on the streets, and you saw the treasonable felony charges that were slammed on a lot of Nigerians at the time. So Pat Utomi came out to say, we're sliding into a descent where you only have an autocratic system of government and not a democracy. And you also remember that Pat Utomi had been calling for a coalition, for a merger. Then we were hearing permutations of Kwankwaso and Peter Obi coming together. We're hearing permutations of Atiku, Kwankwaso and Peter Obi coming together to form a new political party or a different political party from the political parties they belong to be a strong force in opposing the current APC. Well, after a while, we didn't hear anything about that. Peter Obi came out to debunk being part of any measure that doesn't have the interest of the people at heart. Later, we heard Kwankwaso saying he is not going to be part of any political party measure if he is not considered as the presidential candidate. So a lot was actually going on at the time, and the federal government has reacted. Is it bad to have a strong opposition voice to anything that this current administration is not doing properly? I don't know what the issue is anyway in that regard. This and more are the issues we discuss, plus Nnamdi Kanu's case. I would like us to listen to, or rather have a call with Barrister Eze Eluche. Remember, I was supposed to speak with him yesterday, but he was in court. He was very busy. So today, Barrister Eze Eluche actually has our time, and these issues are some of the things we want him to shed a light on. Like I said, the conversation today is ironical, it's a paradox, it's a metaphor, it's humorous in some instances, like the factional NANS president, the retraction of his statement that he actually did 2 or 3 days ago or 4 days ago that trended and went viral, and the fact that he's supposedly being held with a DSS in a particular hospital in Abuja before he made that retraction. Barrister Eze Eluche, good evening and thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Yeah, good evening. Very fine. My pleasure. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you. Thank you. We have you today. Yesterday I announced you. Unfortunately, I couldn't get across to you. Barrister Eze Eluche, I don't know if you've seen the story about the factional NANS president eventually apologizing to the president's son, saying that it was a certain individual who used the president's son's name and made it seem as if it was the president's son who wanted to unalive him, tortured, and sent for him to be brutalized. And he retracted all that statement. But before then, we had heard that he was in the DSS custody in a hospital and that he placed him under duress and they're compelling him to make that retraction. And later we heard that retraction. How would you react to this?
Well, the reality is that the genie is already out of the bag. So whatever retraction or those who saw, I saw also his comments. They were very factual. They were very clear. He was clear-headed when he made those comments. He gave evidence. He gave realistic analysis of what happened to him. So these afterthought apologies, neither here nor there. The facts have already been noted, and we know the strength of the system. We know the strength of the government. We know their modus operandi. We know their expertise in blackmail and torture and all that stuff. So, all this go portray that, in fact, Nigeria is on that stage. The kind of government we have now is a government that will do whatsoever. They would be sent as slow as possible to get what they want. So, the so-called recant by the NANS president of its earlier stated position is clear indication that something was amiss.
Barrister Eze Eluche, like I said, I don't know where this is coming from, but it's quite, it's an irony for someone who came out and said what happened to him, and all of a sudden he was placed under duress to say something else. Do we think that this will stop him from clamoring against bad governance, from clamoring against the president's son infusing himself in organizations that he's not meant to infuse himself? Because apparently there is an appointed faction of NANS that is under the support of the president's son. So is the president's son meant to really have any decision-making authority or autonomy within the National Association of Nigerian Students?
Well, we have the son of the president who gallivants about in the presidential jet. He's been seen in very huge convoy with security personnel from all services, all security agencies guarding him. He's an unelected officer of government, just that he happens to have been begotten by Mr. Bola Tinubu, and is trying to wield this much power. So his interference in not just NANS, in also youth affairs, community affairs, youth affairs, is uncalled for. And we are seeing also the mothers interfering, that's the first lady, Mrs. Tinubu, interfering in communal affairs, women affairs. We see the daughter of the president interfering in market women affairs. So we have a presidency that is trying to infuse itself forcefully into the life and sensibility of Nigerians. And when we recollect that it's a president whose election, who wasn't even qualified to contest for presidency and couldn't have therefore won any election, now trying to destabilize the policy by infusing his family unlawfully and unconstitutionally to the life of Nigerians. It presents ill will for the country. It presents ill will for the future of this country. That's my worry about this country, is the trajectory, that the stories or this narration of Mr. Tinubu's involvement in affairs that he has absolutely no business with.
All right, Barrister Eze Eliche. So, the Benue State Governor, Hyacinth Alia, has accused certain individuals of masterminding a plot to destabilize the state in order to remove him from office. The governor made this allegation during a press briefing in Makurdi. According to him, he said that some certain persons are disinforming the people to make it seem as if insecurity has pervaded his state, so that the state of emergency will be declared on his state. So, apparently, since Rivers State was used as an example, it feels like some of the governors are now intimidated. They can't talk and they don't want to sound or say anything that will offend Abuja or offend certain persons in the polity. And it's funny, it's actually very funny, because why I'm saying so is that we are seeing what is going on in Benue State. The IDP camps in Benue State, you would be so surprised as to how a lot of communities have been deserted, because a lot of them have run into these IDP camps that seems to be overwhelmed. The IDP camps are flowing out, and certain elements have displaced certain persons from their land of heritage. And Governor Alia feels that it's disinformation by certain persons who want to ensure that he is removed and a state of emergency is declared.
It's not politicized statement. These are the characters that we wish they should keep their mouth shut. There is this saying by one German philosopher that when they first came for the Jews, because I was not a Jew, I kept silent. They came for the Christians, but I was not a Christian, I kept silent. This governor of Benue State kept silent, and him and his court kept silent when the unconstitutional act of removing the Rivers State governor occurred, and it's because it was not his state. All of those governors failed to realize that once one unconstitutionality is allowed to scale through, it's just a matter of time for any of them to be removed. Once Bola Tinubu wants any governor removed in Nigeria, that governor is removed. So this belated cry by the Benue State governor that some people are trying to get him removed is absolute nonsense. He should keep his trap shut. They are not, like rightly pointed out, when all the killings, the massacres, the ethnic cleansing of genocidal repression is going on in Benue State, this character who calls himself the governor of Benue State did not even utter much.
Barrister Eze Eliche, again, shouldn't the truth be heard rather than selfish interests to be at the forefront? Is it true or not that certain elements, because the federal government has told us that we should not be shedding light on insecurity, we should not be talking about terrorists and banditry, that it seems that we're glorifying them, so we should not focus on that, we shouldn't give them that media coverage. So let me say that certain persons, external persons from certain ethnic groups or possibly a different country, have been committing mayhem in Benue State. And is that not the reality? Is that not the reality of what is going on? That led to what even happened in Edo State. You saw how Edo State reacted when they saw some hunters with weapons and how a lot of persons shed outcry. We saw what happened in Benue even a week after. The governor had to go for an inspection, and the people said, "We no go green." Told us not to talk about them.
Forget what the federal government is talking about. We're talking of those who have been hit, who are victims, who are the people that are occupying the lands of these people that have been placed in IDP camps. Go to the various communities that have been sacked, that have been asked to leave their communities. The lands are occupied by this herdsmen militia. So why will any government want its salt or its name tell Nigerians to discuss security? They want us to be the scene of an election in 2007 that may never happen. But the most important thing, the most important responsibility of any government is the security and welfare of its citizens. So it is silly, and I'm saying it with all seriousness, for any government to tell its citizens not to discuss the security of its people. What else do they want us to discuss, for goodness sake? Now, when a government allows its citizens to become internally displaced, the state of emergency should be declared all over Nigeria. And the same way Mr. Bola Tinubu sacked the governor of Rivers State unconstitutionally, perhaps it's time to also declare emergency in Nigeria, address security issue.
All right. Now, let's move on to Rivers State. You know that they have a sole administrator for now. There's a committee that has been set up to see how they can reconcile so that Governor Fubara can return. We also heard reports that Governor Fubara had gone to kneel down and apologize to Nyesom Wike. Well, conversations are still ongoing to see how that particular situation can be resolved. But the House constituted a panel and a committee that the sole administrator would have to report to. The first time he was invited to come and give a breakdown of what he has done with the monies allocated to him. You know that in the last 30 days, they have a budget performance document, which is usually published within 30 days after the end of each quarter. So the Rivers State consistently publishes its budget performance documents for between the fourth quarter of each year. In 2023, the same thing happened. But what happened is the fact that there is a lack of publication, which followed the suspension of Governor Sim Fubara since the declaration of emergency. And he was invited, the sole administrator was invited by the 21 member panel in the Senate that he's supposed to report to and give a breakdown of monies that he collected, what he has used it for. They said he has not been able to make any report or defense. There are allegations that 400 billion naira remains unaccounted for in the space of 1 month. 400 billion naira unaccounted for, just like that. And he's meant to have given a report to this.
The government of Rivers State monies for local government areas, for instance, is in contempt of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, because Supreme Court have declared that no funds should be allocated to any local government it's not considered by democratically elected officials. So all the monies given for local government to the River State government is in contempt of court, and the CBN governor or whoever was approving, or the Federation Allocation Committee that was approving those funds are in contempt of court. The Supreme Court itself has also ruled that no funds should be released by the central bank to River State unless it is funds approved by the House of Assembly. Now, without even the Supreme Court changing that judgment, funds were released to this sole administrator. That is also in contempt of the Supreme Court judgment. Now, when I'm listening to the abyss, Nigeria is not being governed as a constitution. We don't have a constitutional democracy now. We have the governance in defiance of the constitution and court orders. So, I mean, those who, if you ask those who take jam and they ask what is Nigeria, is it democracy? You will fail when you say it's a democracy, because there's nothing like democracy in this country. Everything is done in defiance of legality and constitutionality. So, I mean, the more you have this question, the more you have these issues cropping up, the more they keep on making errors and digging themselves deeper into an abyss. Because once the foundation is faulty, as has happened with this River State issue, you keep on getting deeper and deeper into the mess until the Fubara character is returned. Now, what all these stories about going to kneel before Wike or kneel before Tinubu, all is absolute trash. Because there's even nowhere in the constitution that such a provision is made. Now, if you kneel before Tinubu or... I
think it's been restored now, so you can join us virtually on 903 FM or YouTube. We're currently streaming live. The number once again is 080-3692-9933. That's the number for you to call this evening. And the WhatsApp number is 0817-1756-338. Okay, we'd like to hear from you. It's 11 minutes gone past the hour of 8 o'clock. And let's get to hear what your reactions are on the conversation had this evening on the Evening Rush. I will tell you the truth, though, that some of the information were quite... I don't really have the apt word to describe what I was able to read today, specifically with Governor Aliye and I think Isa Atiku Abubakar. 080-3692-9933, or you call the number 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Esther Machuku.
Good evening, sir. My first caller this evening. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I am fine. Thank you so much. Please, what's your name?
I am Peter Mwachineke.
Peter Mwachineke. We're bearing the same surname. Peter, please go ahead.
Let me tell you one thing. I will not be this thing. When I was schooling, we had a record.
Okay.
By Jimmy Cliff.
All right.
He said, you can be wrong and get right. No matter how hard you may try. But this Nigeria, everybody that is wrong. So someone will say, if you committed a sin and come to APC, your sins will be covered. And that's what we are seeing. So everything we are talking, Esther, my daughter, is because of wrong choice of our people. Because people say, don't speak the truth. I think Obi won this presidential election. I was at Port Harcourt, but I don't want to go there. Esther, may God save this country in Jesus' name.
Amen.
You are blessed.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You can't be wrong and get right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. 080-3692-9933. That's the number to call. 080-3692-9933. And the WhatsApp number is 0817-1756-338. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello? Hello, you're live. Good evening. How are you? All right, kindly call us back. It seems you don't know that you're live. 080-3692-9933. That's the number to call. 080-3692-9933. And the WhatsApp number is 0817-1756-338. 0817-1756-338. Hello, good evening. How are you? Good evening, sir. What's your name?
How are you, Esther?
I am fine, sir. Good evening. Can you hear me? What's your name?
My name is Misappropriation.
All right. Calling from where, please?
From Insecurity.
All right, sir. Please go ahead.
See, I've been hearing all this thing that you people are saying on POP. You are doing a good work.
Thank you.
We're only shouting and talking. And what is happening, everything is happening. Killing in everywhere. In Nigeria, all the people want to finish by Boko Haram and the herdsmen. And we are shouting on the radio every day. I never talk to you every day that you are doing analysis. I hear you every day, but because of I don't want to talk, because of too much things are going on in Nigeria. Now, it's like everybody is looking to this country and they are doing what they are doing. People are killing everybody, and we are still just talking about 2027. It's like this man who knows whether they are using medicine. You do, because now we can wizard vote for this man, make this man to enter power. They are looking for blood. They are shocking every day. They are eating blood for Nigeria blood every day. Who knows most of that thing make everybody want to depart to pay APC to become one party system in Nigeria. So I don't know what is going on. That is not, and everybody are sleeping, watching it until the day every Nigeria will finish. Thank you very much. And they don't want to do anything. I just want to tell you about this.
Okay, thank you. But if you keep saying that every day we're shouting, we're having these conversations and educating ourselves. And the idea is that we can intellectually strategize so that the mistakes that were done in the past will not repeat themselves in the future. We have to talk. And trust me, they're listening. If you don't know, they are listening. That is why you see them give you reports and comebacks. They respond to these things. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you? What's your name?
My name is Taiwo. I'm calling from Maryland.
Taiwo from Maryland. Taiwo, please go ahead.
Yeah. No, but I'm very happy that I came today for about 3 months ago.
Really?
I'm always hearing your conversation every day, buddy. I'm happy.
Thank you.
one thing I want you to know, madam, in this world now, what is happening in Nigeria now? You know what is happening? You know what is happening in Ghana? You know what is happening in Ghana when it comes to general rallies? Because I'm calling at the barrack right now.
Okay.
That is what is going to happen in Nigeria. If it does not happen in Nigeria, Nigeria can never settle. Go and write it down. It will not happen. It will not happen. It will not happen next tomorrow.
Hello?
That is going to happen in Nigeria. Without that, there's nothing we can do. That is that we're facing right now.
This network is very bad though. You're calling from the barracks. Are you sure? Okay. I didn't hear what you said. Please call back, okay? Kindly call back. You were really breaking. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening, Esther.
Good evening, ma. How are you? I'm fine, ma. Please, can you speak louder? Can you project better?
My name is Madam Peace. I'm calling from Baran.
Madam what? Hello?
Peace.
Madam.
Hello.
You said what, ma?
Peace.
Peace. Okay.
So I'm calling Peace.
All right. Go ahead, ma.
Esther, you see all these things happening. We saw our leaders. They really know what is going on. There is nothing that cannot terrorism. It's not something they cannot handle. How can they say they should not talk about security, which is the main thing in the nation? That is the thing bothering people. Now you cannot move from one place to the other. No free movement. And they say they don't talk about it. When they are saying we should not talk about it, what are they doing then? Like that Benue State governor, Reverend Father. Okay, Peter Obi wants to go and visit these people in IDP camps in their own country. They are living, they are in a foreign land. People from another area, another country came into displace them in their own home, and they are keeping quiet there. Is it not that break that they know that there are still people in those places that they say should not talk? What are they doing? When they read whether they call them colonize and integration and all those rubbish, when this country has ever done that? If they don't know what is going on, why should they be doing that? You catch people who displace people from their homeland and they are doing ethnic cleansing. You will give them money, give them uniform, give them taxpayers' money. The people they are displacing in their home are living in the bush, living in a tent, living in a back of a tent, maybe a pack of gari. They are hiding there. Then you put these people in the house, you feed them, you clothe them, you give them allowance, you train them. What happened to people whom they have displaced in their homeland? What kind of reasoning? It's like this that they don't have head, or they have their ulterior motive. They don't think. They are not righteous. They are wicked. They are culty. They are not human beings. Because nobody with blood and flesh that will not have feelings for his own people in the country. It's not good. It's annoying.
It is annoying.
And they're talking about election. When they finish killing people, who will they rule? Instead to do what is necessary now, they will not want people to vote for them. When they do what is right, people will vote for them. Not you doing people, you are pressing people to vote for you. It's not good. May God help this country, because the way they are going, it's not anywhere. That's my own.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling. Like I said, they are listening. I hope that the needful is done for security, for economic revamping. Trust me, there's hunger. The hunger mad. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello, good evening. How are you? All right, call me back if it's like you don't know that you're live. 08036929933. That's the number to call. And the WhatsApp number is 0817-1756-338. 0817-1756-338. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name, please?
My name is Commander, aka DJ The Rap.
Go ahead, please.
What I want to say in this issue, this insecurity ravaging this country, so the government now, they finally want to silence our mouth. So this insecurity, is it okay for them? We should not talk about insecurity again. Okay, watch out. There is something Mazin Nandekano said a few years ago, that we don't want Fulani herdsmen in our village. Now they are using it against him. Now government are telling us not to talk about insecurity in this country. Is it good? That shows that they know what is happening in this country. So whatever is happening in this country, we hold our government responsible.
All right.
The government knows about what is having.
All right, thank you very much for calling. Thank you for calling. 08036929933. That's the number to call. 08036929933. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, Esther.
Good evening, sir. How are you, sir?
Whether you are doing a good job,
Thank you. Thank you. What's your name, sir?
My name, forget about my name.
I know you have to tell us your name because it's very important. Give us
Okay, my name is M. Maro. M. Maro.
All right, go ahead.
What I just want to say is that I don't have enough credit. Nigerians, we are deceiving ourselves. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There is someone who speaks to you there that time. That's the only man I see that we have said the truth about.
Oh, sorry. He said he doesn't have credit, but you have to call with that. You can send a message on 0817-1756-338. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, good evening. This is Paul from Egbeda.
Paul from Egbeda, please go ahead.
Yeah, I am shocked that when you check most organizations in Nigeria, they have splinter groups. And this thing become rampant since APC took over the reign of leadership of Nigeria. There is no group now you won't see a splinter group out of it. Why won't Abure, why won't he obey Supreme Court? After all, he's a lawyer, he's a barrister. Why won't he obey Supreme Court clear ruling? Even somebody that is not a learned colleague, just hearing that ruling, that judgment, knows that his tenure has expired, and at the same time, he was chastised, he was cautioned that when a leader tenure expires, he should honorably quit. Then the cross appeal he put in Supreme Court was thrown out, was struck out. And the appellant, which happened to be the that woman's group, was awarded the judgment. What kind of people are we in this country? Sometimes when I sit like this, I say, come, are we a different species from the other human beings that are existing in the world? Why do we like to create crisis? And in order to show that we can do something, what is really going on? And the press is not helping the matter. I want to say it categorically. Why would the press be addressing Labour Party, the chairman of Labour Party, when press is aware that judgments have been passed against Abure, yet you will see journalists and broadcasters saying the chairman of LP, Abure? I mean, confusion everywhere.
If you had listened to the conversation, you would have heard factional. There are two different chairmen, the Nenadi Usman Committee and Julius Aburi. They're factional. Julius Aburi listen, sir. Julius Aburi is still insisting that he is the chairman because the Supreme Court judgment said that the party is meant to make a decision about its leadership. So the issue right now is, why has the court not called these two warring factions and clarified their judgment? The judgment is what is causing the confusion. So don't call out and generalize. All right, please. Proceed.
Esther.
Okay,
let me make my submission. The Supreme Court said the appeal that Abure put across, for him to be recognized and reject that of Naman, the woman, the Supreme Court ruled and threw it out. And then pronounce Naman, the woman, as the authentic, recognized one. And also chastise Abure that leaders, when your tenure expire, honorably quit. So what interpretation again do we need? And they said the judgment that gave him the right to call himself a chairman, that it was erroneous, that they err in judgment, the two judgments of the lower court. So what are we expecting again? Why do people like to create trouble in this country? Why? This thing is, I've lived outside this country. Things are not done this way. Why is Nigeria so peculiar from what is obtainable? Why? So you will begin to ask, which kind of human beings live in Nigeria? When we see black, we try to paint it to become red and white. When we know that this color is black, it's terrible. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling. All right, that was quite a lengthy one. All right, 080369299. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, Esther.
Yes, good evening, sir. How are you, sir?
Esther, how do you do? Joe from Bariga.
Joe from Bariga. Please go ahead,
Esther,
sir.
You remember about 2 weeks, this man came on the television.
Yes.
He said, look, the killing in Benue State is over politicized. I said, what is this? This governor, has he gone crazy? So this I want people to explain to me what is over politicized. What does it mean?
I don't know.
I don't know whether the man is a foreigner in his own land. I don't know.
Because the body language itself, the body language is even questionable.
Wonderful.
Questionable.
Wonderful. I beg, make the answer back. Say, what does he mean by over politicizing? I beg. Make the answer. Good night.
Good night. Thank you very much. Thank you for calling. Hello. Good evening. How are you?
Yeah. Hello, Esther. Good evening.
Hi. Hello. Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah. Esther,
So,
I was just listening.
Your name.
Yeah, Tony Chukwudi. I was just listening, calling from UK.
Right.
I was just listening to the last caller. Yeah. Okay. He was saying things are not. I mean, that he has lived outside and all this. You see, there are some certain things that I blame the judges.
Okay.
So because when you listen to some of the cases that is being handled in Nigeria, you will find out that at the end of the day, two parties will come out and saying they are the winner. Because the judges are not making their judgment clear, because they themselves, the judges, are not even, they don't even trust the case they are handling. So when you want to make a judgment, I have gone to some certain court. When the judge make it, he will break down everything, and then comes to a conclusion and state in a plain only one sentence.
I remember Kenneth Okonkwo was saying that the court should not be ambiguous. Their judgment should not have any form of ambiguity. Or
so make it. Yeah, you might speak everything, or your secretary or whoever might write everything that they want to write there, but at the end of the whole thing, you make it only one sentence, and that one sentence sometimes it has to be separate in a separate copy, written boldly, so in case if the person is blind, at least the person can see it during the night. So all this problem that we are having is also the judiciary again is causing this problem. There is nothing stopping you from telling Abure, you have finished your tenure, and you didn't conduct the convention according to the way it's supposed to be, according to the INEC or whatever they call themselves, their guideline. It's just as simple as that. Even a common person on the street knows it. Then why is it that a learned person, a judge, cannot even make a simple judgment and pronounce the whole thing the way it's supposed to be? Why are they like this? Are we supposed to be talking about, look at the time that this thing has taken, Labour Party and every other thing? The moment they continue to play this type of card, the moment they are consuming the time, they should have used the time to do another thing.
Exactly.
Here in the Western world, they don't waste their time, because they don't have that time in the court, because the others, their case are there. But in Nigeria, they have a lot of time. I don't know what again to, and I get angry.
Don't be don't be angry. Don't be angry.
I don't know what happened to Barrister.
Barrister who?
Their guest.
Oh, but the line went off. I've been trying to call him back, but it's not been connecting. So.
Yeah, because we didn't even know what you were just saying something. The whole thing on YouTube, we couldn't even hear anything. The network was just spinning. The
network was terrible. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you very much, Tony.
Esther, sometimes again when you are speaking your Igbo, please can you speak Igbo with Igbo? Don't speak Igbo with English.
Okay. Thank you.
You know, their English is only you are speaking your Igbo too polished.
Okay.
Yeah, in as much as it sounds so sweet, but yeah.
Tony Chukwudi, thank you very much for calling. I sincerely do appreciate you calling. All right. Have yourself a good evening. Bye. 080-3692-9933. That's the number to call. Hey, turn off the volume of your radio. How are you? Good evening.
Good evening, Esther. How are you?
I am fine, sir. Good evening. What's your name?
Well done. My name is Mayor from Festac.
Mayor, long time. Mayor, please go ahead.
How's it going? And things are getting worse every day. Look at the killings. And somebody is telling you people, media, to be moderating. Does it mean that when people are massacred in either Niger or Borno or Yobe or anywhere, that you should not report it? Or maybe many people will be killed.
They say no. Amplify the efforts of the military more and the work of the security agencies.
Yes, it's the military. I don't believe. You know the military that they ran away, that they attacked them. So how will you now call that one to us? That is the issue. Seeing themselves, everything is not about propaganda. There are issues that need to be treated according to its merit, handled. It's not military. They are pursuing military, even in their barracks. They have taken over most of the local government in the north. Those things, if you don't report it, people outsiders are hearing it. Exactly. There are so many BBC outside service. All those foreign leaders are in Nigeria here. It's not like deceiving themselves. They don't have any top idea of what or the solution to these problems. It's so unfortunate. And the man just wants to. The president is just like he just decided to round up the country. Maybe some people said we already killed the country. He was coming to bury it, and the signs are there. So let Nigerians get up and work, form their own coalition. The downtrodden, the deprived, the suffering Nigerians, those people who cannot find food to eat. Let them come and form their coalition, because this 2027 is still foul. The way it's going. People are saying 2027. The way it's going. May there never be an implosion, though, because the thing is getting out of hand.
No implosion in Jesus' name. Thank you very much, Mayor from Festac. The number to call is 080-3692-9933. 080-3692-9933. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Wonderful.
Good evening. Okay, are you okay? The way you sound, everything is fine?
Fine. I'm fine. Those are some... I'm happy.
You're what?
You understand? I'm not happy.
Sorry, but
you know, every time I always visit the program, sometimes I don't want to call. Like, well, not in my mind to call, but I don't know. I will always see myself calling.
Okay.
You understand? It's not in my mind to call. Sometimes I just listen to this program and my exact problem is coming to my test. Let me be fast on this. What you think is high time we invite Nigeria, the US to like to help us in all this thing that is going on, because it's very obvious that these governments are sure that they are incompetent. You understand? So talking every day without any solution, I don't think we are making sense here. It's high time we call on people that have moved, these people that can talk to them directly, like face to face, and let them understand what the masses is going on.
That's why we're talking.
Even interested of making what the mind is just 2027 to win election, to do this. What happened before 2027? What's going on now?
Well,
I was going to wait
the
to
president
2027.
said that the economic policy reform is beginning to take shape. Like, I think about 2 or 3 of them have been passed in the House today, and they will continue tomorrow. So maybe before the year runs out, we'll begin to feel some relief.
Esther, that's what we normally used to hear every time. I'm just tired of East Nigeria. See, I want to be, what I will do is maybe from now henceforth, once I'm listening to this program, well, maybe sometimes I will listen, sometimes I will not listen, because I'm getting tired.
Don't be tired. We'll
I'm
keep
getting
on talking
tired,
about
but
these
I
issues.
pray God should help Nigeria.
Amen.
And God will deliver us from this hand.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling. 08036929933. I'll take one more call and then go on to read messages. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
I don't have OB, I don't have this thing. But dear, the authority will write a letter give to a university that is the choice of the world, of any of them there. They will admit him or her. So please, Nigeria is a flawed country. There's nothing we can do except when we fight the common enemy. The Yoruba and the Igbo should unite. The Southern Nigeria should unite and find a common enemy. That's my own say. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Let me take your messages now. Good evening, Esther Wachuku. You're making some good points. It's interesting how quickly some Nigerians and political analysts jump on social media to analyze negative news about the country, but there's hardly any talk about Nigeria clearing its IMF debt. The kind of hypocrisy is something we need to address in Nigeria. Tunde from Ijegu. Good evening, Miss Esther Wachuku. Sorry about your bit under the weather condition temporary. Please, I'm really curious. All right, thank you very much. Good evening, Esther. Please stop calling Peter Obi former Anambra State governor, but he is former presidential candidate in the just concluded presidential election. Omalicha from Ogma. I don't understand. Is it not the former governor of Anambra State and the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party? They both inscriptions not attached to him. I think you people should be choosing your problem wisely. It's very important. Esther, my question is, what does it take to form a political party? Can't Obi form and register his own party? It's obvious that anywhere he goes to, Tinubu and APC will sponsor people there to destabilize the party. Ororo from Ayobo. So, okay, you know the whole thing with Peter Obi. For example, if you had heard what Daniel Bola said 3 days ago, Daniel Bola said that if Peter Obi decides to be a vice to Atiku, it will not work. A lot of persons who followed him, who made him or supposedly trusted his ability to lead, and he became a thought force in 2023, they don't want that. He also made assertions that if he decides to drop his presidential ambition, that the followers he has will also, they will leave him alone. If he's not the one to lead it, but ensure that it's a people-oriented political party, he's not desperate to be a president. They will now say, so your party has issues, you left and you went to another political party. So there are different permutations about it, but INEC is going to release a guideline towards the end of this year for how the 2027 elections will be. Then we will know if new political parties can be registered, or if you would have to join another political party already registered but doesn't have that national spread. Maybe they can, that's why they're forming coalitions or they campaign to other political parties. However, let's see how it goes. Okay, good evening, Esther. Benue State is for a long time overdue to be declared a state of emergency. The governor is incapacitated and doesn't have the capacity to deal with various crises and killings over there. The earlier it's done, the better for the people of Benue. From HRH BC Nwoko in Oshodi. Good evening, Esther and the guest. I'm from Benue State and a Catholic. I will state here and unequivocally that the Reverend Father Governor of Benue is a shame to the Benue people and to the body of Christ. Same to all the men of God that led to the enthronement of APC and cannot criticize their rascality. I'm so extremely bitter being a Nigerian under a federal government which is given a covert support to criminalities and terrorists to ransack and take over indigenous people's land. True federalism is the only solution. John Mark Innocent. All right, John Mark. Good evening, Esther. Nigerian army has a better weapon, but the problem is based on the information is that the Nigerian army is waiting for an order from shenanigans of politics and power play in Nigeria. When the people are gradually wiped out, Nigeria shall be great again. There is nothing to show that the powers that be are ready to solve the problem of insecurity soon. This signifies hypocrisy, spirit of compromise, and lack of political will to get insecurity behind us. You did not tell us your name. Please, when you send messages, kindly put your name. Good evening, Esther Wachuku. Solomon Asika from Mushi. Esther, do you know you're very funny by saying extraterrestrial beings are the ones attacking Nigerians, so therefore it calls for divine intervention? What do you want me to say now? There's that we should not amplify it. Well, we should amplify the effort of our security agencies. So I don't want to call anybody's name. So maybe they're extraterrestrial persons or things. We don't know. But God is on the throne. I salute you, my gallant and female radio presenter, Lady Esther. Thank you so much, Osi Morale, for your morale in keeping us hopeful. Thank you. Good evening, Esther. This is Elder Iyo Mama from Benin. The porous situation we have found ourselves in Nigeria today is as a result of the fight in Nigeria. Let them send them packing, from Chief Udo. All right. Good evening, Esther. Good evening, my daughter's sake. My name is Always Favor from Ikorodu. The analyst speaking on the program was very right and correct in all his analysis. Anyway, I can tell you that this government has become Idi Amin of Nigeria, but he should remember that when the chips are down, there'll be no hiding place for a golden fish. His family have taken over Nigeria. What is the position of Sheyi in this country? Anyway, like father, like son, let them eliminate the whole Nigerians and be in Nigeria alone. They will account for their sins. Buhari and Tinubu know what is happening about the tribal cleansing going on. The terrorists they brought in during the 2023 elections are the ones causing havoc, and they're all pretending they do not know them. The blood of the innocent being shed will catch up with some people someday. All right. Okay. Favor from Ikorodu. Don't worry. We will get it right. All right. Our leaders will make accountability. They'll be accountable to the people they govern. The president has promised that he will be accountable to Nigerians. And on May 29, he'll be officially 2 years. We will hear what he has to say and tell us what he has been able to accomplish and hear what he will do more. So let's be patient. Hopefully God keeps us alive. VOP, good evening. Esther, how are you? Good to hear you this evening. Please advise Obi to forget about Labour Party and PDP completely. The structure of these parties are compromised. They are irredeemable. They should form a new party right now before it's too late. I suggest that he proposed party should be named Alliance for New Nigeria. The next election is between APC and Nigerians. Anaclet Anibonwa from Alagbado. All right, Anaclet, I hope Obi is listening to you. Sister Esther, good evening. This APC government will not stop surprising us. How can they ask the media to stop talking about insecurity, in terrorism precisely, in Nigeria? Does it mean they don't have feelings, or is there something they are not telling us? One day Nigeria shall be redeemed from their hands. You didn't write your name, you just wrote from Meron. Please, you can resend your name. Thank you very much. Hello, dear ones in the studio. Okay, I think I've read your message. Good evening, Esther Wachuku. I just want to appreciate the good work you're doing. May the good Lord bless you. Lirina from Ajao Estate. Thank you. Thank you very much. Kudos, come in. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take 2 more calls. I think I've been done with all the messages right here. The number to call is 080-3692-9933. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. What's your name?
My name is Idoma from Surulere. Am I on to the radio station, Esther?
Yes, sir. You're on to VOP 90.3.
How Arsenal?
Arsenal won, Abi.
So Nigeria is everybody is doing what they like. I'm hearing you guys. Let me shout out.
Okay.
Nice job, sir.
Thank you. This one is just happy. Arsenal won. That's why he's happy. Did they play today?
I should be happy now. What do you want me to do?
Okay. All right, we could now buy us some Maya. Let's all celebrate, Avi. 08036929933. No wonder everywhere quiet. Now they watch ball. 08036929933. Hello, good evening. How are you? Turn down the volume of your radio. Oh no, when you call, turn off your radio completely or stay far from your phone. 08036929933. See them now, ball. You know, see them. China. Wow. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Esther.
Good evening. How are you?
I thank God for getting me today.
All right.
I've been listening to your session all these days.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank INEC. They were bought over, and what they have done to this country, in fact, it is for them, and it will go after them. Posterity will be against them. So I like what you are doing. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for calling. 08036929933. That's the number. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, Esther. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm a new caller. My name is Christopher.
Oh, Christopher.
Calling from Ajibule.
Welcome.
Yes.
I'm ringing the bell for you.
Yeah. You also will say, personality, good evening, sir. If I know it's not there in the studio now, but anyways, I want to say good evening to him, sir.
Okay.
Esther, I don't have so much to contribute, you understand?
Okay.
I've been listening to this program for a long time, but I'm using my earpiece wherever I am. I normally listen to this program. You are doing a great job.
Thank you.
So please, our leaders are putting us in big shame. Sorry to say that. Nigeria, those years, food is everywhere, everything is very cheap. I could remember those past years in 70s, 80s. My dad used to tell me that if you want to travel, it's 350 naira, 200 naira. And nobody likes to travel then. Nigeria was good. So how come Nigeria is so bad now? Why? Why all these our leaders, they are putting us in big shame? Why? Other countries, they are mocking us. Africa country, some countries, they are mocking Nigeria. Don't you know they are mocking Nigeria? Nigeria has everything. We are good in everything, but suddenly everything just...
It is not because we want the land to be cheap, and it's not because the place is not developing. In fact, this place is massively developing, and that is why we are inviting everyone that would love to own a plot of land there to visit us tomorrow. We are going for inspection tomorrow.
Tell those people that betted today on the game that made money.
If you have won today, if Arsenal have made your ticket to be a blossom ticket, in fact, invest in property. We'll be going for inspection tomorrow, like we go for inspection every Thursdays and Saturday. So, but tomorrow we'll be going for inspection. Now, the phone number to call is 0905 904 7514. 0905 904 7514. We also have other estates like in Ikorodu. We have Kudu City, is located in Agbowa, Ikorodu, and Kudu City is going for 1.5 million naira per plot. We have other estates in Omuketu Ekpe like Kudos Heights. Kudos Heights is going for 4.5 million naira per plot, and we also have in